Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of What If the Continents and Oceans Were Switched. And last episode we saw the big war happening and the alliances are basically broken down now. I'm going to refine them at this episode right now. So starting off, some countries are going to leave the alliances. This country right here, it leaves the alliance. They still maintain good relations, but and this attack thing, the defense pact is gone, and now they're kind of just back to this. This country leaves the alliance, but they do end up making a new alliance, kind of ending some of the hate over here. And it's between them and their friend that they both just left the same alliance and they're forming their own alliance. So now it's a lot better because they have very friendly relations. Meanwhile, up here and like all this area, they don't really like each other. This area is kind of inception. They're fine with each other, but these two down here like each other now. There's a lot of hate between them and them. So there's still a potential for more wars. Anyway, continuing to look at where we just were. Get rid of that. Turn off this, and now we're going to be seeing some expansion because there's going to be a lot of expansion in today's episode. We just finished off with like that last episode, I'm pretty sure it was. And so this area right here gets taken over. And then remember that team that was right down here? Well, there's going to be a new country that has the same color as it. And it's going to start like right here. And it's going to try to take all this land away. Eventually it does. But then it gets too big and it collapses, leading to these countries taking some land. So they each take some land, kind of. First off, the pink team gets this little bit of land. The long stripy team gets this land, much land. This new gold team gets that much land. The rest of it breaks up into even bigger pieces. There's a piece right here that has some land over there. Then we're going to have to find a new color because the rest of these colors are already taken. Then there's a country right here. Then there's the main country. Then there is this maroon country down here. And there is an esclave, if you cannot see it, way over here, which is just lovely. And we might be seeing more mess in this area later. Each of these are kind of like small countries, and then something's gonna happen, and it's gonna be this esclave breaking away. And eventually, some of these they're gonna try to unify and make themselves a little bit bigger. It's kind of like going to where they started off. So basically, there's just two main countries here. And now we can put the capitals. This one's capital is right there, and this one's capital is going to be right here. And now we have basically this whole side of the Mediterranean being complete, and over half the Mediterranean has been taken over. Next, we look at the yellow team, who have extended their claim up here a lot and have all that land. And there's a lot of room for potential over here, and especially because the Atlantic Sea has not been reached yet. So there's going to be an expedition by this team that sends them out on all the way this way, eventually meeting in an area around here. And then we see kind of the formation of a new country. Couldn't find a new color to make it. It's going to be right here. And they're going to get very big, very fast. This has already happened recently, but around the time of their fatal collapse that's going to happen, they get about this big, and they kind of explode. Regions that didn't have any people, it was just like claimed territory. There were just a little bit of people here. It's gonna it's gonna just become no country. There are people living here, but they're not part of the country, if that makes sense. And this is gonna kind of hurt this team, so much so that they're going to collapse for the greater good of the world. And they're going to take a color like this, and they're on this side, so it's split in half basically until it all gets taken over by this country. And then this country implodes because there's no population on the side. And then we're left with this. And the capital will go right there. And now the Mediterranean is starting to fill all the way up. We have a lot of different areas that are starting to be filled up compared to the start of this episode. And the start of this episode had not, if you remember, all this area was unoccupied, as well as some of this and all this area over here. So now we're going to look down here for daily expansion update of some of these countries. This country doesn't expand too much. They can't. They're very weak now. They can't really do anything. The red country is going to expand a little bit. They can't really do anything right now because of how bad how much valuable land the peach team took from them, and it really hurt their economy. And this episode, we're going to see a lot of countries collapsing due to the economical pressure as we enter sort of a Great Depression. A lot of this area right here is taken over by this pink team, so the peach team can't go this way anymore, which really angers them. They were planning to take over like at least this much land, but there seem to be different plans. And the peach team, they are going to take some more land. About that much. They're getting too big for themselves to handle, so we might see them imploding later. The purple team, I really like their borders. They sort of do like wavy thing, and we're going to continue that as they take over all these areas. And now they've stopped expanding, and they're not going to be expanding anymore probably for the next episode or two. And meanwhile, over here, the brown team has been gaining population very rapidly. they're slowly becoming one of the top populated powers, and they even take over this little coastline area. And they're becoming very strong and powerful as well. That comes with all that population. And there are a lot of countries on the map right now. The rankings, they're actually, it doesn't include 2 countries that are on the map. But in the current rankings, there are 25 countries. Now there is 27. And the country numbers, some of these countries are going to get a lot bigger. And they're going to kind of take land. And the lime team here, they have a lot more population than this pink one. They're a lot stronger than the pink one. And they end up marching their troops into the pink one. And right when they get to the capital, this light red team, who they got a new government in the last episode, and they absolutely hate the red team because they didn't send enough troops to help with them. And they're focused on making their regime, I guess, more powerful. And they probably end up taking something like this. They have more coastline now, which is the main thing they wanted. The lime team does end up getting a lot of the land they wanted. They take all this land in the capital. Then there's this little buffer state area. And this is just going to go over to basically the pink team again. But the red team's just going to take control of it. So basically what they wanted, they got. And now there's only 4 countries that own land here. Of course, the whole bottom area, which was, I don't know, it was part of the Isles. It used to be part of the red team. And, so it used to be part of the purple team. It all did. Then it broke into the different pieces. The lime team, purple team, the red team, which used to own all this. And then this black team got some land out of it until the yellow team came and there's a big war. Anyway, we now are going to take a look at more wars. As the next war, there's a lot of stronger powers down here in this area. And there's not really much room for more wars. So, there's not going to be that many wars down here. But, just know that one of the 2 alliances here is preparing to go to war. But it might not be the one you think, because a new alliance is going to be formed with the goal of getting rid of the circle team. That's between the cyan team, the green team, and the blue team. So basically everyone they border has an ally besides this little pink team, which is very weak. And even if they took out the pink team, who was basically the puppet state of the purple team, they still wouldn't. They would be at a border with the pink team, so it doesn't really do anything. And there's going to be this new alliance, and one of these alliances is prepping to go to war in later this episode. But for now, we see up here another war happening with this new occupied land, as these new countries here, they don't like each other at all. So they prepare to go to war with, and there may or may not be some outside provision. And surprisingly enough, the capital of the light blue team gets taken in a mere matter of weeks. Meaning this country gets all the land they once had, that white team once had. And they're a lot more stable now. It's probably been about 5-10 years since that happened. And we're starting to get to the point in history where, like, they had, like, I would say they're in the medieval eras right now. It's happening a lot sooner than that. So yeah. But that's mainly because a lot of the population center is like here, and a lot of big powers on the outside can't take any more land. And a lot of the inside people can't take land either because they're blocked by the powers. So a lot of new countries are going to be forming up here. Number one is this orangish country. They form right there. These countries are very stable for how early on they are. So they're actually able to keep their big size until some of these outside powers get involved. And what makes the peach team very mad is, as you can see, they can't expand anywhere at all. Now, they're completely trapped now, which is not a good thing. There's going to be a new country right here. And this one isn't going to have like a defined border, they're just kind of there. Our goal is to link up these two teams and make a trade route through here. So they end up making something like this, which is their claimed land. It doesn't work at all though. So, yeah. But they end up settling for something like this. And now a new trade route can be formed. We can go up to the trade route. We can see there's not really much going on down here. First of all, we need to expand upon up here, as a new trade route is going down into this strip of land down here, linking up with a lot of major cities, and then going up through here, connecting back up over here. In this area, the trade routes are kind of reworked, you could say. Instead of meeting up in the middle, they all three meet up in the capital city of this team, which leads to a big business boom for their country. And the yellow team's claim over here doesn't really have much trade, which makes them kind of mad, as they don't really go straight through their country. So they try to rework the borders of the trade barrier, and they end up going, like, it ends up changing, going like that and like that. So it goes through their country a little bit more. And then we take a look at some of the trade down here. It goes through pretty much every country. These newer countries, they're going to get linked up by a small trade route. It's not very, very big. Then we see another trade route that goes into the purple team's territory, linking up the brown team. There's not really much down here, so it ends up linking back like that. No one really comes to this country, but this pink team sees it as a way of prospering in the near future. And they're going to put their capital right on the trade barrier, right around here. The rest of these countries, they're going to do the same as well. Them putting their capital there, and then putting their capital right there. And now we can see there are new countries on the map. And there are going to be some countries that are going to, and there's going to be some countries that are going to lose their independence. And one of those countries I was talking about earlier, the Trapezoid Alliance, is going to attack the lime team. And it starts with the green team declaring war, taking the capital instantly. The lime team was not strong. They just won the big regional war thing that just happened. but it's still not enough, as these countries are too powerful for them. And they end up getting demolished, and then we can take a look at the peace treaty. In the peace treaty, we can see the green team gets all of this land, and the blue team gets all this land. And then the rest of this land becomes a puppet state of the green team. And they felt like doing this mostly because the green team used to be the strongest country in the world. If you remember your history, though, they had, like, I'm gonna say, all of this land down here, and something like this, and then they collapsed, leading to the creation of the blue team. I think this country might have been in it, the cyan team and the purple team, as well as the red team, who had already gained independence earlier. And then they grew into this, leading to the creation of the purple team, who is now the strongest country. And they don't like the purple team at all. That's why they've created the alliance. But this is what the border looks like. And now the lime team is gone. Next, the peach team tries to show off their dominance by attacking this team right here. They're very powerful. They end up cutting off this area and wrapping around like this. Down here, this is where the pink team gets involved. And they end up taking the capital and some area down here as well, which makes them very mad, and the peach team will start to do something. The whole world doesn't know what yet. They will figure it out soon, though, as rebels have just risen up in the bottom of this peach team country in a color that looks like this. And they swoop through country, as there are not really many troops here, and it's a very unstable country. And another little country pops up, and the territory over here is handed over. Half of it is handed over to this new pink team. The rest of it goes over to the peach team. And then even this rebellion faces challenges, as they are split up into two, as a new country right here pops up. And now this country is broken into three new pieces. Each of them get their independence, with basically the same borders as they had. And there's going to be some mess down here, but eventually gets settled, just like this. And just like that. Anyway, this area over here, this much of it is given to this country, including the capital area. The peach team is given a lot of it. This whole peninsula area, ish area. Don't know why this is not working, so I'm just gonna color it in like this. There we go. The rest of this is going to become a new country gonna be it's gonna be this color. And now we see that there are new countries on the map. This country is going to put their capital there. Funny enough, the purple team puts their capital there, but the reason why this was such a big deal was it's mostly because the capital of this light green team is in the province over there, which is very disputed, and they're getting kind of like starved off, so they end up just moving their capital down to here. Those countries' capital goes right on the coast, right there. And now there are some new countries on the map, and it's a lot more disputed. Each team has some more land and room for expansion, and some new people they can attack. But meanwhile, their nearby neighbor kind of does something messy, and they start taking some random plots of land out here in the Indian Ocean. And the reason is because of another country that's in between them. Hooray. It's going to be this dark green country, and it forms right here, and it's looking very ugly, mostly because of these borders. And it ends up looking something like that. That land goes over to them. And this country is looking very ugly. And this whole area of the map just looks horrible. In an attempt to fix this, these two fight to the death. Basically, what's going to happen, this one takes their capital. Meanwhile, this one takes their capital. How original. And a lot of this land falls over to this one right here on this side. But on this side, a lot of this land falls over to them. And at the end of this dispute, it's looking something like this. They don't care about protecting their homeland. They care about taking more land. And eventually this whole one is forced out, and a peace treaty will occur. Okay, and here's the peace treaty. In it, this land, this land, this land, this land, and this land falls over to this country. The rest falls over to this country. And now they have each other's capitals. So they position themselves in each other's capitals. And now, it's kind of like the yin-yang. It's very circular, which is the one thing I don't like about it. So I'm going to be attempting to change that. This team gets all this land. This team gets that land. And this is going to do it for today's episode. I'm going to do the rankings in the next episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode. And in today's episode, we are looking at another What If the Continents and Oceans Were Switched. I plan on having this be a very big series, and right now we extend all the way from the Strait of Malacca over here all the way up into the Mediterranean Sea over to here, which is a very big distance, as you can see. And right now, we're going to start the episode off with this country expanding. And they take about this much land. No. Just takes 1 pixel. But they take about this much land, which is, considering their own size, which they probably double their entire size. Right here, this gold country extends to about right here. They take all this land. They've extended pretty well. They are growing very big. The yellow team takes even more land. They now also have a good amount of land. And this area of the world is starting to become stronger rapidly. Next, we're going to take a look at down here as some wars are going on. As this team marches in to the pink team's territory and connecting up these different areas. Meanwhile, this purple team is going to take advantage of this and march into the purple team as well, taking the capital. Oh, but not so fast, as this reddish-orange country goes into the purple team, the pink team, and they also go into this green team down here too. So we now have all this, and this offensive is becoming very powerful, and the peach team up here is going to take advantage of this. Again, just like how when it split apart, they took advantage. They're now going to go into the purple team, as it has basically fully collapsed now. And these different countries are going to take their claim. The pink team doesn't take that much more because they already have the capital. This orange team gets involved though, and they end up taking the rest of it over, which is very impressive because they are very weak, one of the weakest out of them all. Meanwhile, on these fronts, as those fronts have closed, they're able to push back a good amount over here. The purple team is able to take all their land back, as they're the most powerful out of all these guys. And they even start their own offensive into this country, taking the capital, and which leads to this team over here taking their land back, where we see the peace treaty of this all-out war. Okay, and here is the first peace treaty out of the two. In this peace treaty, all this land over here goes over to the pink team, and this down here is now unorganized territory. Meanwhile, over here, this green team, they are able to get all this land. It's all theirs. Up here, the pink team gets all this land. They don't get the capital, but up here, peach team gets some of this land, not all of it. Still not all of it. Anyway, I take all this land right up here. Next, we can look down here as we see this golden team. Like, orange. We're going to call them orange juice team because they look like orange juice. Or light orange, yeah. We'll just call them light orange. And then the rest of this is going to be divided in the second peace treaty. And then we'll also see what happens with this territory down here. Okay, and here's the second peace treaty. Starting off, down here, this area becomes a territory, and there is some area over here that used to be part of the country, but now it's not claimed by anybody. Over here, the green team gets this land, this light golden team gets all this land. Peach team once again gets some land. right here. Then we see the capital going over to the pink team. And then there's a little bit of unorganized territory right here. That's going to become a peach team, a little peach team puppet. They're very small. And yeah, so they're going to be very small. And when I say small, I mean very small. And it looks about like this. Then there's going to be some moving up, and about all this land taken by the gold team. They're becoming a lot more powerful than what they started in the episode. And I just want to mention, in the power rankings, we're probably just going to do like top 15 now, or top 20, because we now have a lot more countries on the map, as you can see. Or at least like 6 here that aren't classified. So we're probably going to do top 20, and then the rest I'm not going to do. But meanwhile, over here, this country has finished what they wanted, what they started. As they've taken all this land and connected up with the brown team, who has made it all the way over here as well. And it's taken that much. And now this is a big trade route, mostly because the brown team extends their little claim, and they are growing very big and very fast. They have a good sized military to do so, and there's no one to stop them until a little piece of their land tries to rebel. We're gonna do this color. It's like a salmon color. And it starts down here in some of this newer territory. And it extends up very fast. And it takes over a lot of this side until the military gets here. And this is like what they declared from independence. We're going to use a lighter color to show what they're attacking. And they take about this much until the brown team gets their head out of the game and starts doing a good, very big pushback. Takes back all their land and starts moving in from this side and some of this newer territory, wrapping around down here. They don't really have a capital, and there are no major cities on the map, which I will add after this. But they end up taking about this much and winning this revolution for now. Though that country will still exist. We're gonna change their color though. Yeah, okay, we can change it to this. And their color has now been changed to this color, to light red. And I don't know what I think about this. Tell me in the comments if you like it, if we should keep it. They're gonna put their capital right there on the trade route. And the brown team, they've lost some land from that, but they are still very massive. And now we're going to take a look at the major city map, which should be quite interesting, as you can really see how the population is spread out. Okay, and here we go. As we can see, there is all sorts of stuff. There are all sorts of different major cities all around, and it'll correspond with the rankings. For instance, the purple team is number 1 in population, so they have a lot of major cities. Whereas Cyan team is second, and the green team is third. And that kind of correlates to, like, if you're 24th, like this country, you're gonna have like 3 other major cities. And you can barely tell what the actual major cities are. But you can see a little bit, I guess. There's not much of a difference I made, so it might be a little bit hard to tell, but I'll turn it off then when we're doing stuff like that. Anyway, there are going to be some new things happening in the world. First of all, this country becomes a puppet. Its capital city is converted down into a major city, like that. And now we see, them getting the border, just like normal puppet states. They were basically a puppet state, but they weren't confirmed as they were more of just a border state back then between them and the Peach team, who fought a very large war, I think recently, with them. But now there's not really any border, and they are slowly starting to hate each other. Meanwhile, up here, a war is brewing, because if we look at the alliances, we see the Rectangle Alliance is a very large alliance. And there are 3 alliances in the world. The Rectangle Alliance, which is just these 2 countries. It's not one. They used to be a part of the Diamond Alliance, which is these 3 countries. But they didn't. They just decided to leave. They still have really good relations, though. And then, like I was talking about, the Diamond Alliance, the Trapezoid Alliance focused on getting rid of the Purple team. And then the Purple Team's alliance with the Orange team and the Maroon team. And these alliances, and this is going to spark some hate between these 3 major alliances. Nothing much. The Trapezoid alliances have no hate. They have no hate with each other, but they share a common enemy being the Circle team, and we're going to use a new symbol, and it's going to be a new color, being a light green team, and this is going to be for something I like to call a good old coalition forming. And it's between, I don't know why this is. They're appearing over it. Oh, this is probably because it's in the background. But coalition will be forming with all 3 of these countries. And all 3 of these countries, they're all part of the same coalition. So, to further demonstrate, we're going to be putting a square on each of these for this coalition. And this coalition is going to gain members kind of immediately. First of all, there's this pink country. They were smart by linking up these countries, the brown team and this new red team, but they still don't like the purple team. And now all hope is looking lost for the purple team. But they will be gaining an ally, and it's going to be down here with this one, this green country, which is going to immediately make this other country, who absolutely hates them, it's going to make them become part of the Diamond Alliance. And it looks like we could be on the brink of the second major war, kind of like the Second Punic War. I wouldn't say these are world wars. Of course, they take up a lot of the known worlds right now. But the world really isn't that big yet. And very soon, later this episode, it's going to change a lot, and the world's going to be filled up rapidly. But for now, we are going to take a look at what is referred to as the defeat of the Purple Team, as war is declared on them by the Cyan Team, and then all their allies start attacking, and they're able to hold them off for a good amount of time up here before all the other people start coming in. People who are on the front lines are either going to be supplying or attacking their allies. So the blue team is going to be attacking this purple team, maroon team. They were very strong, but their time has just passed. And they really aren't strong anymore. They're going to get attacked by this country. And we're going to use, for different battlegrounds, or different countries, we're going to use different colors to show that it's a different country and the boards don't get mixed up. The green team is going to make an attack into this country as well, capturing the capital. Down here, though, the purple team has made a sizable advance into the peach team. They didn't have that much troops down here. Meanwhile, down here, they have been getting to work as they take over some land right up here, which causes a large fallback of this territory. And then this green country would take the lead as they push in to this territory. Meanwhile, this country will push into its territory. And it goes something like this. And they each move troops into to defend their area. Up here gets defended back really well. Down here does get defended back. Not as well though, as they did make a very big push into the country. And it's starting to look like the purple team might not win. Even over here, this country has pushed in to the purple team, and they have taken a great amount of land. Some purple team forces are going to be stationed here. They're very weak, and the only reason they were doing this is because they're like the same ethnicity. They have the same religion. People were welcoming them with open arms, kind of. And they're basically losing on all fronts. Meanwhile, this front over here is going to completely collapse. It's all being taken over. And now marches into the orange team are being made. As all of this maroon team has been taken over. And the orange team is starting to get taken over. The purple team is sending a lot of forces down to this area. But it's no use, as even the cyan team makes a little landing into here. And is able to push into the purple team this way and over there. The purple team, this is one of their best fronts. They're able to push back on the cyan team greatly. And down south, they are doing a little bit better. They have regained some of this land from here. They're not really going to go down and help their ally down here, though. They pretty much got it under control. The beach team has been able to kick back some of these forces right around here. And this is not looking well. Some more countries are going to join in on this. The butt kicking of a century. And now the brown team over here has joined in, as well as some other countries who you thought might have not joined in. This red country, this pink country. Countries up here are even going to supply support. Yellow team, these countries, they're all going to put their efforts aside, their differences aside, and they all join up on this alliance. And eventually, the red team joins. And with this newfound hope and newfound power from these new allies, they are able to do great work as they push them back very far. Down here, the front is collapsed, and it looks like they're not going to make out of this alive. The orange team surrenders over to the peach team, and this little puppet state isn't going to surrender over yet. It is incorporated into purple team territory so that they can get a better staging ground for all this. They are going to start liberating their ally, though, in hopes that they can still survive. And they are liberated. This northern territory wasn't really controlled because they surrendered, so they're able to take a good amount of it back. But the green team is going to keep pressing in, and it's not looking too well at all. Looking back up on this front, this country has been aided a lot by foreign help, and they're able to basically crush them, splitting them in half and taking the whole bottom part for themselves as they work their way up. These fronts are called back just to help that make them last longer. Eventually, though, they are going to surrender over. And the purple team is losing hope. They are going to start recruiting people from the civilians, which I forget what it's called, which is going to help liberate their ally. It does a good amount of work, as it takes probably about that much land back. They're able to push more into the peach team down here. Up here, they are able to make an advancement into the cyan team. And it's looking up for them, even though they have lost now 2 allies and a third one about over here. This front has kind of been abandoned. There is no point in trying to take this front back. And eventually about this much land shaken from them. And they're getting a lot of help from the brown team. And eventually, so if we look at the alliance map, we can see most of these countries are in an alliance now. To further solidify it, we see a ton more countries join in. This one, this country, this country. So now all this main area has joined in on it basically. This country. Now we're going to look back up here. This country, this country, this country, You can barely see that. We're going to put that right there. This country, this country, this country, this country. And if you haven't realized what I'm saying, the whole world is either on their alliance or on the opposing team. And this is the first time. There is no one neutral in the world. Everybody is attacking. And very quickly we see this front line over here collapsing with all this new foreign help, as they have gained probably double the power they had when all those other countries joined in for the first time, as they probably gained back this much land over here in the orange team front. Down here they're able to gain a lot of it back, probably about this much. And down here this country makes another push up into the purple team. They are getting a lot of help on this side now, and a new offensive is started over here by the peach team. We're going to do a slightly darker color than the peach team. And they end up going down here, and they take a lot of it over, but end up really only having about this much right here. And this front is being very developed very quickly. And now we see something known as the Freedom March, as a ton of people from inside the government are going to pop up right here, and they're going to march their way up to the Capitol and end up making the Capitol surrender over to this. They surrender over to this new government style, and this is going to end the war officially. And this has been this war happened very quickly, mostly because a lot of foreign help as the whole world joined in. But now we can see the peace treaty and the butt kicking of a century, as the purple team is probably going to collapse this episode. And here is the peace treaty. We're going to start off simple. Down here, this country is given a very large amount of land, and they're given about this much land. All this area in here is now theirs. Don't know why it's not working, so we're gonna have to draw it out by hand. All this land is now theirs, and the rest of this land we'll get to in a little bit. They also get this little piece of land up here. The peach team is next. They get a very large amount of land out of this. They get a lot of land down here, a lot of land up here, and up here. And the countries that weren't in the war but were in the coalition. So basically everybody who's not on the purple team side, they all get paid money by the purple team. And they have a lot of debt now. Anyway, we see the blue team taking a lot of land that they used to own from that breakaway that we saw happening. They're a lot more stable now, so they can handle it. The green team gets a lot of this land. Meanwhile, the cyan team, they get a lot of land out here, and some land up here. They are very strong. This new government area that has the capital city is right here. Over here, you can see that a lot of this land right here goes over to this pink team. And then there's just a lot of land that's left over. Down here, the the purple team is allowed to exist right here. The rest of this on the other side, it would technically become its own thing, but this team decided they didn't want that to happen. So all this area becomes its own little puppet state of the green team, and they decide that the lime team is not going to be a puppet state anymore. They're going to incorporate it into their territory. And down here, the orange team gets a lot of their land back, technically. They get all of this back. But a little bit of it is going to become a puppet state. All this is now their new puppet state, which borders the green puppet state. And we enter a time of like peace now. I mean, there will never be peace, but this has happened, and now we see these fronts turning back to purple team, and they now have to fight this civil war that they are experiencing, and that is going to do it for the peace treaty. One thing is, no countries are gone. Oh, besides this country, its government collapsed completely. It is now just a puppet of this blue team right here. And the only other countries that had their government collapse is the purple team over here. What happened is their government collapsed and they were able to save it, kind of. It's different now, but anyway, we're going to be looking at this civil war.